All right, good morning to you all, and thank you very much for joining us on this important meeting. As you all know, I will be hosting the meeting today. Uh, my name is Mr. Usman Gay. I'm the community development worker for Family Voice Peterborough. Uh, yeah, in today's meeting, we have two very important topics to be discussed. First of all will be vaccination, and the second one will be disability group. So can I kindly ask Dr. Sabina, or can I kindly give the floor to Dr. Sabina to discuss about vaccination, importance of COVID-19 vaccination, why do people have to take it, and benefits of getting COVID-19 vaccinated, and what are the side effects of COVID-19 vaccination. I think, Dr. Sabina, you got a lot to discuss. I think that if I could give you 20 minutes or at least 25 minutes to discuss that one, that will be great.
No
I
worries.
think after after you, I was expecting Javed Khan to come and give some updates about vaccination in Peterborough, and also I had Rebwa Hussein from Healthwatch, and also I got Laura. Laura is going to discuss about disability group today, and I also got Amy Fisher and Asta as well. So yeah, if Dr. Sabina can have the floor now, please, that will be absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And Usman, thank you very much for giving me the entrance to talk on this very pertinent issue. And first of all, I'd really like to thank Family Voice for all the wonderful work that you've been doing to help support the families throughout the area and in this city. And it's a privilege to talk to you. I'm a GP. I work at Central Medical Centre, which is in the Millfield, the heart of Peterborough, which has unfortunately shown some of the highest case rates of COVID-19. And we're dealing with it on the front line on a daily basis. Now, I'm going to be covering the four headings that have been designated to me. First of all, talking a little bit about what the COVID-19 vaccination is and about the side effects of it, priority groups, how the government has outlined who can have it and in what order, and a little bit of where we are now. And the other hats that I wear is obviously I'm a counsellor, but I won't be speaking in that capacity. Everything that I am talking about today is purely in a professional medical capacity. And I obviously would say to all families here that if you have any other medical problems related to your own unique circumstances, please consult with a health professional for further advice. So that's just one declaration I usually give as well. So what is the COVID-19 vaccination? As you all know, we were hit by a pandemic on the earlier part of March 2020. Now, the COVID-19 infection is called COVID-19 because this was discovered in a city called Wuhan in China in 2019. And this was the later part of 2019. It then reached the shores of the United Kingdom in February 2020. The country went into a national lockdown in March 2020. And as you all know, many of the families that you will work with, or many of you here that may be part of those families, have seen more or less nearly a year's worth of being in lockdown, being confined to spaces that actually comes with its own repercussions with regards to mental health, etc. Now, what the government has been doing since then is working particularly hard to try and find a solution to the spread of this infection, COVID-19, which has spread, quite frankly, like wildfire throughout the country. And we have seen now that we are facing the second national lockdown. So we are all in a state of lockdown. nationally. And as a result of that, and because of the sheer number of deaths, we've reached a death rate of 110,000 in that period of time since the beginning of the lockdown, when statistics began to be published and released about COVID-19. And as a result of that, a state of emergency has developed. That state of emergency has developed around what the solutions are. And the only feasible solution is to protect people by vaccinating them. Now, the COVID-19 vaccine has come about through pharma companies who have then devised or developed different vaccines to try and help the human body recognize the COVID-19 infection, and then to teach the body to initiate what we call an immune response to the COVID-19 infection, so that people are then protected and do not suffer the symptoms of COVID-19 like you would normally see. Now, the COVID-19 vaccination in the United Kingdom is available in 3 formats. So you have the Pfizer vaccine, which is the BioNTech Pfizer vaccine, which is a Swiss manufactured vaccine. And then you also have the UK's own Oxford University devised vaccine, which is the AstraZeneca vaccine. And then you have the Moderna vaccine, which is manufactured in the United States. So these are the 3 current vaccines that are being given to the population as we speak at this present time. And currently, more than 15 million people within the United Kingdom have been vaccinated or given the first dose of the vaccine. And why do I use the term first dose? Because both the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and the AstraZeneca vaccine are given over 2 doses to give maximum protection. And how long is that protection supposed to last? Through studies that have taken place, they say for a year at the very least. But more studies, as COVID-19 infection is a very new infection, are going to take place and are taking place as we speak to determine the real length of protection that these vaccines can offer and for how long. So that's a little bit about the vaccine. Now, why is it very important? Why is vaccination important? Now, as many of you may know, as soon as a child is born here in the United Kingdom, they are offered, and I stress on the word offered because this isn't something that is placed, a family should be placed under duress for. It's very, very important as health professionals that we make you aware of the information surrounding these vaccinations so that you can make a well-informed choice. But the importance of the COVID vaccination is that, number one, look at the death rate within the United Kingdom. There are over 110,000 deaths that have taken place since the start of the pandemic, which gives us this emergency situation to protect people as fast as possible so that we prevent deaths from accelerating at the rate that they are. And I'm quite optimistic actually, because at this moment in time, due to the number of people that are receiving the vaccine, there is seen to be a gradual decline in the number of COVID cases. We're not quite there yet, but we are getting there, and cases are beginning to fall throughout the county in Cambridgeshire in particular. In Peterborough, as of yesterday, we were still in the highest 3% of cases within the United Kingdom. But over time, as soon as people are becoming vaccinated, we are seeing a decline in the number of cases being diagnosed despite this parameter. Now, that is why it's important to have the COVID-19 vaccination, because there has become a bit of a disbalance with regards to the number of people becoming infected. So the rate of people becoming infected is actually faster. So we have to stop that rapid rate of spread in its tracks. And the only way we can do that is either we don't let anybody leave their house, which obviously isn't feasible and isn't ethical, or we offer people the vaccination to protect them as well. So the latter is more ethical and it is more feasible. So that is the reason why the COVID-19 vaccination is so important. Why do people have to take it? It's the same as the importance of the COVID-19 vaccination. Now, if I could explain a little bit to you in easy language about what vaccinations do. Once you are given a vaccine, now this is irrespective of whatever vaccine you have, and there may be questions surrounding that you'd want to ask me that I'd be very happy to answer. The actual vaccines contained an inactive part of the virus that is similar to the COVID-19 virus that we're seeing now. When that is injected into you, it initiates what you call an immune response within the body that then enables you to fight the COVID-19 infection once you are exposed to it. So the body produces something called antibodies, which actually fight the actual virus and kill it at the site of contact when you become exposed to it. And that is how vaccines work as well. And the benefits are, obviously, you are protected. Not only are you protected, but you're also protecting those around you. So, for example, there is a little bit, in all honesty, and we've got to be very truthful about these things, that there is still very little evidence to suggest that the Pfizer vaccine can prevent you from carrying the virus and transmit it to somebody else. There is no evidence to suggest that you cannot transmit the virus. So although you will be protected, there is no evidence to suggest with the Pfizer vaccine that you could contract or become exposed to the virus and then give it to someone else. But with the AstraZeneca vaccine, there is data to say that it can prevent you from transmitting the virus to somebody else as well. So that is why vaccines are important. And if you're protected, then your loved ones or your family is also protected as well. And as you know, the United Kingdom has a very extensive, robust programme in addressing people to have the vaccine. And I'm going to describe that in a little bit of detail. What are the side effects of COVID-19 vaccination? Now, I have actually been vaccinating people myself in collaboration with Thistlemore Medical Centre. We have a little vaccine hub there. And it's very important, first of all, to ask about a person's history. So, for example, hopefully when you are invited for your vaccination, you will be asked a series of questions. You will be asked to confirm your name, your date of birth, just to confirm your identity and your address. You will then be asked whether you have been unwell in the last 24 hours or developed a temperature. And if you're okay, then we proceed to ask if you have ever had COVID-19 in the last 21 days, because there is a gap of 21 days if you have COVID-19 before you can be deemed well enough to have the vaccine. Just put that at the back of your mind. The second thing we ask is whether you suffer from any medical problems. And it's not a problem if you have medical problems. In fact, it is beneficial for you to have the COVID-19 if you're suffering from lots of other medical problems. For example, the medical problems that I have seen in a lot of patients who I've given the vaccine to are high blood pressure, heart problems, diabetes, epilepsy, other neurological problems, people who are less able-bodied, disabled people who are on a range of medications as well. So there are those factors that we have to look at, but it is beneficial for that patient group to have the vaccine because they are then protected against the serious risks that they could fall victim to if they were to get the infection. So it could prevent, those people are more at risk of complications if they were to get COVID-19. And if they were to get the vaccine, that would prevent those complications. So that is why it is important that even if you have a plethora of medical problems, it is important you get the vaccine. I've been asked the same question about those people who have recovered from cancer, because often it is considered that their immune systems are low. Again, yes, it is appropriate for those people to have the vaccine because their immune system is already low and they would be more at risk of suffering horrible consequences if they were to get the COVID virus, if they were to contract it. What are the side effects? So The side effects that you can have, I've had the AstraZeneca. My husband, who's a consultant surgeon at Peterborough City Hospital, has had the Pfizer vaccine, and both of us ironically suffered the same side effects. So you can get a very sore arm. That is very, very common. You will see people complaining about having a sore arm, a heavy arm, and an arm that feels dead. How long can that actually last for? That can last for up to a maximum of 72 hours, although the shortest duration I've seen of a sore arm is about 6 hours. The second thing is you may come down with a mild flu-like illness. And when I say mild, you just might feel a little bit not yourself and not wanting to get up or have the motivation to do anything, just feel achy all over, and probably a very, very slight temperature, but nothing serious. And the third thing to look out for, obviously, are allergic reactions. Now, if you have ever had a history of an allergic reaction to any vaccine in the past, then we would discuss with you whether having the vaccination is appropriate for you or not. And that only applies to those people who have had a type of an allergic reaction known as anaphylaxis, which is a life-threatening condition whereby you stop breathing if you have an allergic reaction to something. And if you've ever had what we call an anaphylaxis to any previous vaccine, then because of the lack of data with regards to the COVID-19 vaccine, we would advise you not to have it. So those are outlining the various side effects of the vaccine as well. You may get, if you're taking a blood thinning medication, you may get a little bit of bleeding at the site of infection, or you might even get something known as a hematoma, which is a small collection of blood on the outer arm. And that itself goes away. We all apply a plaster to prevent any further bleeding, but that is something that you can get and it goes away within a week's time. So those are the main side effects of the COVID vaccination. Now, just to give you a little bit of an idea as to what the tiers are in terms of the priority groups, and we've already got through quite a few of the priority groups. So first of all, those that were vaccinated were the residents in a care home for older adults and their carers as well. And number two, all those who are 80 years of age and over, and frontline health and social care workers. And then we had all those who were 75 years of age and over, and that tier has also been met as well. The next tier is all those 70 years of age and over and clinically extremely vulnerable individuals. Now, when we say clinically extremely vulnerable individuals, it is all those individuals who have had to shield and not leave their house according to the government guidance as well. And I'm happy to answer any of your questions if you want some more clarity on that. Then we have all those 65 years of age and over. That is who we are currently vaccinating. So we're at tier 5. And then after that, we have the tiers that are going to be vaccinated, which are all the individuals aged 16 years to 64 years with underlying health conditions, which put them at higher risk of serious disease and mortality. And then after that, we get all those who are 60 years of age and over. Then at tier number 8, all those 55 years of age and over. And at number 9, all those who are 50 years of age and over as well. Now, with all of this, I realise that I am in my midst of addressing all of you. You are all, if not the majority of you, have families that have young children. And that has been a great topic for discussion with regards to these vulnerable children, actually. And as we speak, I think that the local health authority, and certainly I'm going to be bringing up some questions as to when this group of children and their families are going to be given priority, because there do seem to be gaps within administration of that vaccine. And obviously, because that is official, I can't comment on that, but certainly pressing for those groups of children to be identified as vulnerable and thus brought within those tiers and be addressed in the vaccination programme as well. So in a nutshell, that is all about COVID-19 and the vaccine. And I'd be very happy to answer any questions. So thank you. I hope I haven't gone over time. Thank you very much.
Wonderful job, Dr. Shabina. Before giving the floor to Javed Khan, if anyone have a question for Dr. Shabina, can you please come forward to ask that question, please? Thank you. Yeah, Laura, come forward, please.
Morning. Just a quick question. So as the main carer in the home, I'm hoping that we would be quite close to receiving the jabs. But what about my husband? So obviously you tend to have one parent as the main carer with regards to a child with a disability. Will that include both parents, do you think?
Now, the question regarding that is, if you have a look at it from an ethical point of view, it absolutely should. There is no question about it. However, Laura, this is something that I've had to face in my own practice. Now, I have seen elderly within the Asian community, elderly individuals become vaccinated within the home. And as you know, they would have a main carer. We have Asian families who have their children who look after them, who would be classified as the main carer. And unfortunately, locally, because this is being managed centrally by NHS England, the directive is that those people receive their vaccine when their age tiers have come forward. So despite us
I've had small amounts of immune recipes, but I haven't got a jar or anything like that. So.
Despite us bringing this up, Laura, as a matter that should be addressed, because ideally not only your child, but yourself as the main carers, if you were to get COVID, how would you look after your child who's vaccinated? And there are lots of questions that are popping up in this regard. So things do need to be looked at. The answer to your question specifically is that locally, I haven't seen that would be the case, that you would, if you were to get the vaccine as the main carer, your husband would as well, simply because of that sort of red tape issue around registration as to whether you're a carer. So the answer is he probably wouldn't, but should he? Of course he should. And I'm hoping that logistically we are able to deliver on that by having enough doses to say, you know what, we have got control of this situation, and now we can invite anybody who wants the vaccine, because we would never want to see a situation like we're seeing again. So I completely sympathise with you and I agree with you. However, it's out of my hands as a GP because this is being administered nationally. The directive is coming from the government, which is something that we can't change, I'm afraid. So with a very heavy heart, I'm having to say to you that unfortunately, no, your husband won't be treated as an official carer and won't be given the vaccine like you would be, which is a shame. And I'm sorry to have to say that to you, but it's out of my hands.
Well, that's right. It's nice to hear an answer from a GP. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your question.
Anyone has a question? All right. Can I kindly welcome Mr. Javed Khan, please, to discuss or to update about the vaccination in Peterborough, please.
Well, good morning, everybody, and particularly Usman and Family Voice friends. It's nice to be back with friends again. The last meeting was just very recent. Can I just include both COVID-19 and vaccination, because I think to do justice, Dr. Shabina has covered comprehensively. So I'd rather like to tell what are some of the challenges that we as a local authority are having, which might be pertinent also to the people who are attending. So in terms of the COVID-19 situation, there are 150 some local authorities in this country. Unfortunately, we are among the worst 8 at this stage. This is not the news that I feel very proud to say, but I need to say that because then it shows the significance of what we need to do to come out of it. We have been here before. A year ago, we were in the top 6, and then we worked our way down and we were disappeared. So it can it's very fluctuates very quickly. So we can go in the right direction if we take more precautions. So that's an appeal. I'll come to that in a minute. What else can we do? Finland is also similar to us in some way. And that perhaps gives us an indication, maybe it's the type of work that our people are involved in. Maybe they need to go out and meet people, do things in factories or in farms or meet people. Unlike people like me, for example, I can work from home, but Dr. Shabina has to go and see people. So it's not just people on the different scale. It could be very highly professional people, teachers and others. So I think that one area. The second is probably the overcrowdedness, housing, where people with extended families living together, or houses of multiple occupations. So it's more difficult to prevent spread when you have it. So what is the appeal? What is the ask that I'm requesting the people listening? Obviously, repeat the government's advice, the hands, face, and space, which everybody knows. So I don't want to dwell on that too much. But there's a need for extra vigilance in social distancing. What do I mean? So if you have got family members going to work outside, how are they meeting? How are they going to work? Are they car sharing? Do they have a choice? If they have a choice, what is it? If they don't have a choice, what extra precautions can they take whilst even in the car? What is the circumstances in the workplace when they are? Are the employment following the work distance requirements? If they feel they're not, it may be finding them difficult to say no because of the job. But do they have an avenue? They don't want to lose the job. Yes, they do. If they talk to people like Osman, Judita, or ourselves in confidence, their details will not be taken forward. I can guarantee that we won't even ask Osman or Judita to tell us. What we'll do is that we'll go to health and safety executives and try to say, get this place checked out. And they will be only very keen to do it. So I'm not encouraging people telling us, but again, if you don't, how would we know? So if there's a problem, don't suffer in silence. If you are a care home staff, or if you work in domiciliary care, caring others, particularly with the ethnic minority people, particularly at the lower end of the pay scale, a lot of times we're finding that we need to actually make sure that they are fully understand about the need to vaccinate and protect themselves. So if you know anybody who work in care home and may be having hesitancy, just contact Usman and Judita, because we will be very happy to arrange a small focus group discussion with those people and bring in relevant speakers. Last night, we had a wonderful event with Judita. I hope you don't mind me telling Judita, with the Lithuanian community. She brought in a brilliant speaker, Dr. Ruta from the University of De Montfort. And she is an immunologist who studies all these bacteria and various things. And information from her, she's a Lithuanian, is far more effective talking to somebody from Lithuanian care home or whatever than me or doctors from the public health telling them. So we'll be very happy to customize for any community, care home, and any person. Just come back to us, we'll do that. If anybody has hardships, whether it's food, medicine, workplace, or anything, the number to remember is 747474. If you don't get the right answer for some reason, come back to Family Voice, come back to Usman, come back to Judita. We will go and review and challenge, because they are our own colleagues and they have difficulties, but sometimes it might be miscommunications. So don't take no for an answer if you're not satisfied. Discuss with Family Voice, discuss with us, and we'll be very happy to follow it up and tell what if there is any opportunity. Some problems that I would like to share is there are a lot of negative publicity going around in social media. And unfortunately, the world we live, people tend to believe whatever WhatsApp message they may get. So what we say in terms of crisis is one slogan: verify before you amplify. So you must verify. If you get a message from a trusted resources, you got Dr. Shabina here, you got Shama from the CCG, you got colleagues, you can get through Family Voice and we can be able to verify this for you. And then before you amplify, otherwise somebody might actually trust that information just because you have sent it forward, and the consequence could be quite serious for that person. So please verify before you amplify. If anybody hasn't crossed, last point is, anybody has crossed any difficulty in booking appointments for vaccination, please also share. We are picking up some issues when sometimes people have been given a venue which is far away from Peterborough. If that's the case, please do share with us or with your local GP, but don't again accept whatever has to become. Share with us so we can try to fix the issues with CCG and other partners. I think that's all, Usman, I was going to cover. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very, very much, Mr. Javid, for your wonderful contribution. Can I ask anyone that who have a question, please? Yeah, you can come forward and ask Javid. Otherwise, I will move to Rep. Hussein. Anybody with a question? Yeah, it seems like no one. I think everything is clear and well understood. Thank you very much, Javid. Yeah, can I kindly welcome Rep. Hussein from Healthwatch, please, to discuss something about volunteers, please.
Thank you very much, Usman. Thanks for this opportunity from Family Voice to organizing this kind of meeting, the opportunity for us to have a say. I'm not going to say much. Actually, probably many of you already know about Healthwatch. Just I'm going to briefly talk about who we are and what we do. For those who are new in this meeting, Healthwatch is the independent champion for people who use local health and social care services. We are the statutory organization, and every local authority have their own Healthwatch. Our job is to make sure that those who run health and social care services understand and act what really matters to people. What we do, we listen to people across Cambridgeshire and Peterborough to find out what they like about services and what could be improved. And then we share the people's view with those with the power to make change happen. We share the people's view with service providers and also with the clinical commissioning group. We also share with the Healthwatch England to find out whether the concern are local or national. It's important actually when you have had any experience, either good experience or bad experience with any health and social care services, tell Healthwatch, because your view is very important. Doesn't matter how your experience is small, could not book appointment with the GP, or could not, you've been to hospital, you feel it been treated very well, or actually you have any concern with the services provided to you, you can always tell Healthwatch by calling our number. I will put the number and also a link from the website. You can do it from Healthwatch Peterborough website or Healthwatch Cambridgeshire website. That's really important to share your experience with Healthwatch. Because Healthwatch also have a seat for Health and Wellbeing Board for both Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. The purpose of this board is to know how health and social care working locally, and also we encourage more joint work. Please do share your experience with the Healthwatch, and also if you have any difficulty to find the services, or if you want to have a question regarding any services, contact our information team. I'm putting the numbers in our chat box. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would also like to welcome people from the Clinical Commissioning Group and NHS England and NHS Improvement for this meeting, and also our new volunteer, Yunus Al Hassan, to this meeting. Thank you so much. Any question?
Any question? No question?
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Rev. I hope he already shared his contacts on the chat box. If anybody that wants his contacts, you can just get it from the chat box. The email is there on the website. Everything is there. Thank you very, very, very much once
Thank
again
you.
for having you in this wonderful meeting. So now we are going to move to another topic, which is called disability group. So can I kindly welcome Laura to come forward and discuss about disability group, please. Laura, can you come forward?
Morning. Thank you very much, Hussein. I just want to take this opportunity to introduce some of you to our local charity. It's a local disability group. It's Peterborough Area Down Syndrome Group. I have a daughter who is coming up 13, and she has Down syndrome, and that's how I became involved in this group. I have a few slides, very quick, just to go through and just give you a brief insight into what we as a group can offer you. So Chloe, if that's going to work, that would be great. So yeah, okay, so just a few lovely pictures of some of our members, and just to let you know, my daughter is the little girl with the glasses on the right. So Peterborough Area Down Syndrome Group. Chloe, next slide. So just to quickly go through what we as a group offer. So we have been going 21 years now. It's a family-led group, and we have voluntary trustees. We are all parents who have children with Down syndrome. We currently have over 100 families. It is something we offer to families, the whole family. Our charity is there for not only the member who has Down syndrome, it is welcome to everybody within that family. So as a carer, as a sibling, it's something that we are keen to offer as a whole unit. We do look at how we are a charity completely. So any money that we use is raised locally. It is done through fundraising by families, and we do get some grants, but unfortunately at the moment it's very difficult to get those. So if you go to the next slide. Some of the things that we do. So basically our group mission is the relief of the needs of people with Down syndrome by the provision of such for people of facilities, services, opportunities that will maximise their participation in society. So basically we're trying to give our children the best start we can. So we start from very early on, new parent support. We are there from day one. We have information within the hospital. So hopefully if you are receiving a diagnosis at birth, there should be information there for you on how to contact us, and hopefully be some comforting information there for you. We then, from very young, we then started a Babble session, which is a play-based socialisation. You know, it's just to get together. We do a bit of Makaton, a bit of singing, a bit of making. It's lovely. It's soft play. If anybody knows Happy Faces in Glinton, that's where we run that event once a month. We have a website, newsletter, Facebook. We do speech and language therapy, which we've also now incorporated occupational therapy, and that when we were pre-COVID, we were running that half-termly. So children were receiving the opportunity to attend a face-to-face session once every 8 weeks. Obviously that's had to drop off now, but what we are offering is remote speech and language sessions. What we also do is some lovely special events. So we have parties, get-togethers, particularly around Christmas. We had a big birthday party a few years ago. So we try and be quite a sociable group. So the idea is that you will know lots of people, and parents are there to support each other. We do run formal education days. We tend to go around World Down Syndrome Day, which is on the 21st of March. And that's where we tend to focus that, and we tend to run an education day annually. Obviously COVID has dropped that back a little bit. weekly drop-in sessions. So we offer people the opportunity to come and have a bit of tea, a bit of a chat. The children do a craft or a sporting event once a week, and that was at Honeyhill. All these events and information are available on our website. And if you go to the next page, Chloe, there's all our contact details there. So there's Facebook, we have Twitter, and we have a web page. So, you know, if there are families out there who have a beautiful new baby with Down syndrome, or have a teenager who needs some support, or an adult, you know, as a family, you need support, we are there. We are parents ourselves. And if we don't know, we probably know somebody who will know the information that you need to know. So whether it's a dentist or a particularly kind paediatrician where we can get some information, that's what we offer. We are there as parents for you as parents. And that's it. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful job, Laura. Thank you very, very, very much for your wonderful contribution. So can I, if anybody has a question, please, can you come forward, please? Yeah. Otherwise, we will move to Amy. Is there any question? No. All right. Thank you, Laura. Can I kindly welcome Amy, please, to discuss about.
Can I just let you know that this is actually Nikki Sanders talking.
Nikki Sanders, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Can I kindly welcome Nikki Sanders also to discuss about disability growth for Peterborough and District Deaf Children's Society, please? If you could come forward, thank you. Nikki.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to watch me share this information.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, Peterborough District Deaf Children's Society, what is it? It's really a group of families with deaf children. It means that they can find contact and support each other, share information, tips and hints. But it's important for this reason. Most deaf children are born into hearing parents. And that means that parents, when a baby is diagnosed as deaf, their baby's possibly the first deaf person they've ever met. So they don't know what deaf means, what the future holds for their child. They just have no idea. So this charity group means that they can meet other deaf people and also other deaf parents who've brought up deaf children. And it also means that deaf children themselves can meet other deaf children. And that is so important because now most deaf children are going to mainstream schools. Often they're the only deaf person in the school, so they're not meeting other deaf children. So what did the charity do? Well, before COVID, if I'd explain, there'd be play events, for example. There's a place called Big Sky in Peterborough. It's a play area, and the children would go, so the families would go, the children could run around, enjoy themselves in the play area, and the parents could sit and talk amongst themselves while the children enjoyed themselves. It also means that all the families with deaf children can be connected in the area. And also so deaf children with hearing brothers and sisters, everybody would have a mix and would socialise together. We'd also go to the theatre, and there'd be an interpreter to interpret the performance so they could fully involved in it. We'd also organise day trips to various different places, and of course parties, lots of parties. Now, because of COVID and lockdown, everything's had to change. It really is a problem for deaf people because online is actually very, very difficult. You have to try and watch. It's impossible to lip read, so you can't understand what's going on. And also, even when there's an interpreter trying to look at the signing, it's kind of difficult when there are so many people involved in the Zoom meeting where to look. It is a really hard situation. So this charity created an opportunity for online things like cooking. There was a magic session that we did, things that are very, very visual that the children can really engage in because they can see what's happening, they can copy what's going on, and they feel connected. And again, that is really important, that feeling of connection. So on the website, we've got lots of information about the different things that we do, the different events that are going on, links to information, how you can find information other places, like, for example, the National Deaf Children's Society. There's links there and lots of information you can find on the website. We also have a Facebook group, which means that parents can ask questions, share information, share links and things that they think are important or useful. So the children learn signing as well, which is key. It's important because they need to understand deaf history and deaf culture, and that's the way for them to do it, through the charity. I think that's it. Amy, is there anything else you want to add?
That was perfect. Thank you, Nikki. And I think now Louise is going to play the video that my son, who's deaf, made of the pictures of the children that we've been, all the online stuff we've been doing over the holidays, hopefully.
Yes, fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm not able to play the video at the moment. It won't let me open it, but I will be able to send it to everyone after the session if that's okay.
Thank you.
So that's Chloe. Yeah. All right. Is there any question for Kirsty? Thank you very much, Kirsty, for your wonderful contribution. Can I? Yeah, Laura. I think Laura got a question for Kirsty, please. Yeah,
sorry, sorry, it's Nikki, not Kirsty.
Okay. Sorry about that. You know, it looks like Kirsty is there. Nikki, thank you very much. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, Laura, can you come forward for your question, please? Thank you.
Sorry, I don't want this to be the Laura show. Just quickly,
Yes,
a lot
right.
of our children, Nikki, are classed as children with hearing loss. So I wonder if there's a way that we could perhaps build a link between our charity and your charity, because the majority of our children have glue ear and are wearing hearing aids, including my daughter. So actually it would be lovely to build up a bit of a conversation with you at another point, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Either myself, Nikki, or Amy Castleton, who's also involved with the PDDs.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
All right.
Laura will put the details on the chat.
Brilliant, thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Nikki and Laura. Can I? Yeah. At the moment, I have to ask Asta to have the floor now, and after then, Dennis. I think I will give the floor to Dennis. He came late, but we will have to try to give her at least 5 minutes to explain something anyway for us anyway. So Asta, if you could come forward, please. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Asta. I'm a parent care representative for Family Voice Peterborough. And I also have a child with complex needs and disabilities. I mean, it's half term, as you can probably see, I'm hiding in my bedroom. That's the only way to get anything done in this house when it's half term. Diagnosis for the genetic disorder that she has. I suppose that's the main reason why I have joined the charity Family Voice Peterborough, because, you know, having a child with any kind of needs is very difficult. When you have a child with complex needs and disabilities and you are not in English national when you came in this country, it's quite a big struggle to find out the services that are available. What are you entitled to, where to go for help, and where to go, when you are struggling. So at Family Voice Peterborough, we do offer help to anybody who is struggling to get the help that they need. So, if you have somebody who's maybe struggling, whether it's the stigma surrounding disabilities and for those who are not maybe born in England and things like that, please feel free to contact me. Mine is short and sweet because I've got children screaming downstairs, sorry.
Yeah. Right, Don? Or you?
Yes. As I said, mine was very short and sweet. I just came from, never mind, hospital. I'm straight from hospital, staying here.
No, sorry about that, Asta. And thank you very, very, very much for your wonderful contribution. If anybody have a question for Asta, can you please come forward, please? Otherwise, I will move to Dennis and Frances. I think Frances has something to talk about. Yeah, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Hi, Asta. Sorry, my name as Pinpoint, not as Linda. Asta, we've met each other on a few other meetings as well.
Yes, we have.
And as Pinpoint, we are the equivalent of Family Voice, if you like, in Cambridgeshire.
Of course, yes.
But we are so lacking in everything you bring in what you've just said in those few sentences. We need this kind of information for so many families that are not born in this country, who don't understand the system. I mean, the rest of us have difficulty with the system as it is, but actually it would be amazing if we could, pass over some of this incredible information that you've gained to so many families that we are also meeting over here.
It's not just that, I suppose. When English is not your first language, and then all of a sudden you hear something called CTCF gene mutation. How on earth do you spell that? I mean, do you know what I mean? And trying to find that information that would be accessible for, normal human beings, that is written to the language that parents would be able to understand, it's incredibly difficult. And learning all this, my daughter is 12 now, so it's been a 12 years of a learning curve because it was incredibly difficult. That feeding tube, what is a feeding tube, and things like that. It was incredibly difficult. It was a massive learning curve. And as you can imagine, as I said, even when you were born in here, and when your English is perfect and you have your family to help you, it's still difficult to navigate the system, to find out where to go, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, because one of the main things that systems in every single country are completely different. So some parents think like, oh gee, so it has to be the same like wherever I'm from, and probably my child will be going to a weekly nursery and won't see them for the whole week. Parents don't understand, for example, that children with even complex needs can actually go to mainstream school and they can get to support. And parents really do struggle because they just simply don't know where to start. What is HCP? It's a foreign language. It can be a foreign language to somebody who was born in here, but for somebody who is just still maybe struggling with their English, it's that much more difficult.
I think that's an important lesson to us all, Asta, because we work with lots and lots of parents and carers whose literacy and numeracy, regardless of any language barrier, is at a level that we all need to remember that if we can talk openly, warmly, but as simple as possible, so that we capture as many people as possible in the information that they're desperately needing, that's very, very important. And even with Laura's a minute ago, I had to kind of think about your mission statement and think, oh, okay, so that means and I had to sort of twist myself around that. So all of us need to be aware that we need to be as inclusive as possible from the minute our language is there, the minute our invitation for support has to be able to be understood as support. Sorry, I'll be
Absolutely.
quiet now, but thank you, Asta. That was really important.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Pinpoint and Asta. So can I kindly welcome Dennis? Dennis, do you have any, Rebwa, sorry about that. I will come back to you. So I just want to give chance to Rebwa, how to call it, what's his name? Dennis and Francesca, if they have something, if they have something to say, please.
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work for the Cambridge and Peterborough CCG. I've put a link in the chat for our website, which is a good source of information for local health information. There's information on there about COVID, vaccination sites, the process, and what to expect when you go and get your vaccination. And there's some frequently asked questions. So if you have any questions or queries about getting the vaccine, you can find it there as well. I just wanted to also pick up, I know there was a conversation earlier about carers. So where we are at the moment is that the NHS is now starting to vaccinate people in priority groups 5 and 6. So priority group 5 is people from 65 to 69, and priority group 6 is people from 16 to 65, I believe, with underlying health conditions. So we now are starting to vaccinate people with disabilities, learning disabilities and underlying health conditions. In relation to carers, I know that that's been looked at nationally, but my understanding is that carers will be eligible now in the next kind of 2 priority groups, 5 and 6, as long as you're in receipt of carers allowance, and that I think you're the sole or primary carer for somebody with underlying health issue. But I think that some of that national sort of decision making is still happening, but at the moment that's the most up-to-date information I have, and I'm happy to continue to update or come to these meetings or provide information for you. Please do get in contact with me if there is information you would like from the NHS that you can't find, or isn't in the right format. So if you need something in another language or easy read or any other format, if you need that to help you make decisions and understand what's happening around COVID, then please do get in contact with me and I'll put my details in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. We will surely do that. Thank you very much, Dennis, for your wonderful contribution. I know we are out of time at the moment, but because we are discussing a very, very important topic at the moment. I'm very, very sorry about that. I know most of you want to go somewhere else, but these topics are very, very important. And, we can continue, with this topic till tomorrow anyway, but, because of most of us are very, very busy. We cannot do that at the moment. So I have to give, how to call it, what's his name again? Francis. I think you got something to say anyway. Yeah, if you have something to say, can you please kindly come forward, please, to say it.
Hello, hi. I'm here from Centre 33 and I'm due to speak at your next meeting, I think, but I just wanted to add my voice to this discussion because it seems like there are a lot of people here today who are carers or representing carers, and Centre 33 is a new service in Peterborough commissioned to deliver the Young Carers service. So we are here to support carers who are under the age of 18. They might be siblings to someone with one of the health conditions you've been talking about. They might be supporting a parent to help for another sibling. They might even be caring for a parent themselves who has a health condition. And so I just wanted to say that we are also here to support young people who are caring, and it sounds like we could make some great connections with some of the parent carer supports and the different communities here and the support groups here. So I've put contact details in the chat, and I'm sure I will be badgering you all to start talking to you, and I've met some of you already, so lovely to meet you all, and just wanted to say hello. Thank you.
All right, wonderful job. Thank you very, very much. Like I said earlier, the main objective of these meetings is to find out parents carers within seldom heard communities, and we can only achieve that through these communities, through the team leaders. This is because you are more close to them and they have more trust on you, than me or anybody else, you know. So because of that's why we are organizing all these meetings, and this is the only thing that can help us to achieve the yeah. So that's why we are appealing to everyone. There will be a meeting coming at around March. Yeah, I'm appealing to everyone. If you could just come and join us, that will be absolutely fantastic. The floor is open to everyone, please. Yeah, Reba, I think you have something to say. If you could, come forward and say.
Thank you, Usman. I just wanted actually to add that some for the point Asta and also Linda from the point, and then the Dennis actually talked about. It's just about the providing information. I think when you're providing information, from my own experience and also the reports we published in Easy Read from Healthwatch, for those who cannot translate the information and flyers into different languages, I think the best way for people who English is not the first language, it would be Easy Read. Easy Read is very easy to people whose English is not their first language to understand. And I think it's just, I received some feedback from friends actually who I gave them Easy Read report we published in Healthwatch, and they said this is the best way for people who cannot speak English very well, or they have actually the English is not the first language, because they said actually when you are reading too much text, you can't remember what is being said from the beginning. But for the Easy Read report, it say that we can scan the information. That just wanted to add this for those who providing information in a different format, especially for we can't access to accessible information standard. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Jason, do you have anything to say, Jason, please?
No.
Huh?
No.
Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Is there anyone that have something to say? You can just come forward.
Well, actually, sorry, Usman, can I just ask Sabina a question, please?
Pardon?
Can I ask?
Of course, Jason.
What in your speech, or whatever you would like to call it, you mentioned that disabilities were also in the list, but can you tell me in what order, if there is an order, they will be in? Because I have two conditions. One is a neurological one, and one is to do with my spine.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure where I will sit, pardon the pun, but as well. So I just wondered if you could let me know, or know what the local thing will be on that.
Yeah, so according to the tiers, Jason, obviously it looks mostly at age, as you know, and obviously there are 9 different tiers. So if you've got can I ask, I know obviously it's a public meeting because we've got other associations here, but if you have been in the clinically extremely vulnerable list, you should have been at tier 4, and actually you should have been invited. Is my understanding that you haven't had an invitation at all?
No, not at all yet.
You haven't. So that should have been the case. Have you made contact with your GP surgery in this
No,
regard?
not yet, because I would assume, because it's only local, they would have contacted me, as they know I'm in a wheelchair and everything. So,
sure.
And I would have thought I would have been on their critical list.
Have you been shielding, and are you in the clinically extremely vulnerable
I have been shielding, yeah, but I wouldn't say I was in the critical list, no.
Okay, so if you...
I've just done it off the back of,
Sure. So then I think you would fall under tier number 6. So those are yet to be invited. So I think they're the next tier. So all individuals of age 16 years to 64 years with underlying health condition, which put them at a high risk of serious disease and mortality. In fact, I think they're actually being vaccinated as we speak. So you should receive either a link, or you should have contact from your surgery. It may be worthwhile picking the phone up and speaking to reception, or asking to speak to the practice manager of your surgery and saying that actually you do have underlying health conditions, you are between 16 to 64 years, and you would be eligible to have the COVID vaccination. I think Denise was referring to that. Denise, sorry, could I just bring you in here? Are you on behalf of NHS England? Because I didn't quite catch that. And would you be able to elaborate on that further as to what the tiers are being addressed within Peterborough? Because I know that we're having the stand ground station that's being used to vaccinate people, and we've also got the City Care Centre, and GPs are being delivered vaccines as and when, and then they're inviting their own cohorts in. But have you got anything further to add?
So I work for NHS England, but I am at the moment working for Cambridge and Peterborough CCG, so I want to comment. What you said is absolutely right. So where we are now is that we're starting to invite people in priority groups 5 and 6. So if Jason hasn't been called, you haven't been called already, then you should be called shortly. But you can definitely put in a call. What the kind of national line is that if you are in one of those groups and you haven't been called yet, so if you're in group 5 or 6, then you will be called. But if you are anxious and you think you should have been called earlier, then do give your GP a ring. But what normally happens is they work their way through the different priority groups, and you would normally be contacted by the NHS, and you'd be invited to go online and book an appointment, or you can call 119 and book an appointment. The way it's working at the moment, you can have your vaccination. It's normally at your GP surgery, but there are also, as the Dr. Shamina suggested, that there are larger vaccination centres. They tend to be run nationally, so you'd get a letter or a phone call and you would be invited to go to one of the national vaccination centres. And we've also got one pharmacy in Peterborough that's also offering the vaccination. So generally, in terms of communicating with people, the line, then sort of, the standard line, the national line is, we will contact you. But if you are in a group and you haven't been contacted yet, and you think you should have been called by now, then pick up the phone. But for everybody else, it's basically wait until you get called. But Jason, I'd recommend you just make a phone call just to make sure that you're in the right group.
Yeah, the only reason why I was asking, I'm on a Facebook group to do with my disability, and a lot of people that are up north, or seem to be, sort of the northern area, seem to be having it already. That's why I was just wondering why we here down in Peterborough or Cambridgeshire haven't been called. I didn't know whether it was a numbers thing or whether it was just there weren't enough down here yet.
I think it's also logistical delivery, Jason. So in areas like up north, they've been able to, for whatever reason it is, obviously logistical delivery or how they've set up their various CCGs. So the clinical commissioning group obviously is responsible for delivery of services locally, and it's different in different parts of the UK. So the way they've probably set up their vaccination programme is has enabled them to sort of, give vaccinations at a quicker rate. And I know that we were, Cambridgeshire, 2 weeks ago, we were actually sort of 5th from the bottom, but we have since increased that. And there are a lot of logistical delivery problems as well associated with it, as far as we know, which we don't really have control over. But it's getting better. And no doubt, as Denise has said, you should have received or will receive a call. The NHS will contact you. And if you don't, it's probably better just to pick the phone up, speak to your GP, and try to ascertain when it is you will be called, if you shouldn't have been called already. Is that okay? Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah. You just mentioned disability in your speech, if you like, and I just thought, just, what order they're doing them in. That was all. That was really my question.
Sure, and I think it's always good to ask questions, and I hope that it's given some clarity. But yeah, most certainly, if you've got any other further questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I'd be more than happy.
No, I will do. Cheers.
Oh, thank you very, very much, Dr. Shamina. Can I kindly welcome our sister, what's her name? Benedita, please, if you have something to say. Sorry about that, I know we are out of time at the moment, but this is very, very important, honestly speaking. So, yeah.
Thank you to be invited here. The chair of Black History Month and also Peterborough Racial Equality. I think this is a really good platform to get to know what happens in the families. And already I've just been connected to Francis, whom we were going to have a Zoom meeting tomorrow. So I think this such meetings are really good. I'm just sorry I've not been coming in because of my job. I do work as a teacher, and therefore right now I'm on half time, so I had all the time to join in. If they're after school hours, I'll be joining in all of them. But yeah, this is a great platform and very well, I mean, lots of information to share with the community. Seeing Dr. Shabina, seeing people like Jason and many other, Judita, and obviously Javid, our link.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And thank you, Usman, for the great job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very, very, very much. If anybody have anything to say? Yeah. If we don't have anything, I think now we have to wrap up.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, brother Ade, yeah, come, yeah, you can go now. Thank you.
Actually, yeah, I don't really have much to say about like what the doctor was saying the other time. Please, let's try and encourage people regarding the vaccine. You understand? Because a lot of people are like, there are a lot of propagandas out there regarding the vaccine. So please, and if you know people that are saying some of these propagandas are not real, please, if you have any information, share with them, encourage people. Because there are a lot, what the social media is taking up and down now, the social media is just giving a lot of things out and is saying this and that and this and that about trying to discourage people from taking the vaccine. But I really advise that please and please, if you know anybody or probably if you have anything that you can like either send, even if you can get them to come for a meeting like this, get that information that you can just send to them, post to them, so that it's just encourage them. And if they're like, okay, they don't know where to, I think the doctor was talking about different places where there are numbers where they could call to see how they could get the vaccine. So please try and encourage people to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. Thank you very much. My name is Ade from Nigerian community.
Ade, I just want to say something. At the Black community, we are having lots of videos going around now.
Okay, that's good.
Who have actually had COVID, and they've made a video through Peterborough City Council, and we're also encouraging people who can translate scripts, and then we send them around. So I've got some that I could share with Usman Gay,
Usman, okay.
came from Kenyan community, which is relevant to other Black community, if you would like to have them.
Yeah.
We'd love to have that, sister, honestly. Shabina, Dr. Shabina, I think she wants to add something. Dr. Shabina, if you...
Thank you. So thank you very much, Adi and Bernie, I call Bernie because, you know, I'm very close to Bernie, for your, first of all, your work that you're doing in your communities as well. That's very instrumental. The second thing is that Javed has very kindly set up a webinar tomorrow to reach out to ethnic minority communities exactly on this topic surrounding conspiracy theories and the COVID-19 vaccination. I think currently there is what we call, as health professionals on the front line, we are facing a wall, I would say, of people that are coming forward and using online social media platforms like Facebook in particular and WhatsApp to circulate some really dangerous, I would say, material that is influencing ethnic minority communities with regards to not taking the COVID vaccine. I have become subject and involved in meetings whereby the conspiracy theorists have come online, and honestly, the hostility and the nastiness that is coming out of it is something that I would not wish upon anyone. We've seen people on ventilators, on the front line. We've had to comfort families to try and ease their pain in the last moments of people that are dying from COVID-19. And of course, we all know the care home situation as well. So it's been really emotional for us at the front line. So we're happy to share the information that will be hosted at this webinar. I'm not sure if this webinar will be hosted to Facebook, Javed, and is there a link that people can join to if they wanted to join up to that webinar?
I've just sent it to Judita.
Sure.
Juditha, please kindly share with Usman, and it is a faith perspective, because there are people coming in from a certain Islamic faith and various things, but it's open to all. So people, so it's not restricted, but you do need to register. So there's a WhatsApp link which I've sent to Juditha. Juditha, please share the WhatsApp link, because then you can register easily.
Thank you.
Otherwise, email is a bit difficult. There is capacity. It's only tomorrow at 6 o'clock and 6 to 8. We've got national level doctors and faith group leaders coming in to tell people, and Dr. Shabina is obviously our local GP, to answer questions and give that kind of reassurance. It's open to all, but it will be from an Islamic perspective, in case people try to say that your faith is an issue. Faith is not an issue. It's actually the people are the issue. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful job, Mr. Javid, for your tireless effort anyway. So we really appreciate it anyway, particularly Family Voice, working with Family Voice. So yeah, I can see, my sister, you are collecting your pizza anyway. So yeah. Enjoy it anyway. So yeah, Family Voice, we are trying our best to look after everybody anyway. So it's just a little gesture anyway, but I hope all of you appreciate it anyway. So yeah, if anybody have something to say, yeah, the floor is still open. I know we are out of time, completely out of time, but I'm very, very sorry about that, because this is really, really important. Yeah, if you have anything to say, please come forward to say it now, please. Linda, do you want to add anything?
I just want to say, what a brilliant meeting. Please, can we do this more often? It's just so important. Yeah. But also, Usman, you have been such a warm and friendly and inclusive host. Thank you so much. I felt very much part of this meeting. So just want to say a personal thank you to you for making everybody feel so sort of very welcome.
Oh, thank you very, very much for that comment. I'm sure my boss will be very happy to hear that anyway. So thank you anyway, Linda. So anyone want to add anything?
Please, Usman, try to send the link for tomorrow that Jarvis was talking about.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I would like to attend that, please. Can you send it to me via text, please, or WhatsApp, please?
Yeah, I will surely do that. I'm waiting for Juditha to share that one with me. Then I will give it to you anyway.
Okay, so, please. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Don't worry about that. Honestly, you will get it. Juditha, I think you have something to say. You have a very nice story to discuss anyway. So if you just come forward, please, guys. I'm very, very sorry. I know I've got 7 more minutes to go, please. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Juditha, come forward, please, if you want to say something. Yeah.
All right. First of all, I would like to say a very huge thank you to all our wonderful speakers for their very informative presentations. Thank you for sharing with us all very important information. And as Javed mentioned, this is a brilliant platform to communicate, to make a contact, and to share all information you need to. So also thank you very much for all our attendance, for all your questions, and for all answering. And we hope to see you on our next meeting on March. But before the finish, I would like all of you or to write in a chat or to just say what are you getting out from these seldom had forum community sessions. So it's very important feedback for Family Voice Peterborough and for that forum to improve our work. So we would be very grateful to all of you if you could just write 1 or 2 sentences about that, or if you can say. So thank you again. Thank you very much to all that, to all of you and to everyone for your brilliant contribution to our forums. Thank you.
Wonderful, Juditha. You are very right. I even myself forgot that question. The question is easy, honestly, and we really need your feedbacks from that. What are you getting out from seldom had communities forum session like this session? Please, your inputs are very, very, very important to us. If you just write it in the chat or you just say it, that will be absolutely fantastic, please.
Usman, I wanted just to let people know that Black History Month, we are distributing food to the community. People who are, could be struggling at this time. It doesn't matter whether you're working or you're on benefit. but we are helping out there. There are lots of single mothers, there are lots of people there in our community. Some of them do not want to say they are struggling, but if you know them, we'll just put something on their door and give them. We have volunteers who are doing that for us. So Black History Month, Usman, you can share my contact, and if there's in the community who needs help that way. Thank you.
Yeah, I will surely do that. Thank you very much, sister. Thanks for that. Thanks for the wonderful job you're doing as well. Yeah, yeah. If, like I said, if you all of you can just respond to, to that question, that will be absolutely fantastic. We can wrap up now at the moment. So if you finish answering that question, or if you want to come forward and say it, that is still all right for us.
Usman, can I just say that?
Of course, yes, sir.
I think that there are many forums that I attend with communities, but this forum in particular, it gives a platform to the people, families with special needs. And I was so encouraged by the positiveness which comes out from people or parents who are supporting. There's no family without such kind of special needs. I don't know any family who'll say, I don't have special needs. We all have. So it's for them to bring up together. It's a mutual support. So I think that is really building confidence among us. And there's a hope. I just want to end up with a big hope that this vaccination and hope is really what keeps us on. So I think you provide the hope is very important. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful comment. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much for that. Anyway. So, like I said, please do not forget our next meeting. That will be March. The date will be communicated when it is getting closer. So, thank you very, 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 very much for having you here. I hope you all will enjoy your pizza today. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shalina.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.